Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living right here in Fullerton. We are a healing, teaching community promoting the awareness of the divine potential within everyone. Today we have Reverend Dr. Bill with us, which is just great. Can we stay here all year? So now let's read our purpose statement. We are a loving spiritual community, empowering all to live healthy and successful lives through practicing the principles of science of mind. So we come together here today to celebrate the oneness of the living spirit within each and all of us. We know that God is all, our creator, and all of the creation. I bless this service here today. Each of us whose intention it is to bless all those who are joining us now for a spiritual booster. Blessings to our talented musicians, Tommy and Kat, who touch us with their beautiful voices and song choices. There are blessings for our committed board of trustees watching out for the business dealings of our center. And there are special blessings for our practitioners who keep the high watch for the spiritual, mental, and physical health of each beloved member and visitor. We acknowledge the commitment and love of our newest practitioner, Eva Costello, who is celebrating her graduation this afternoon. There are blessings for our Director of Operations and Camera Person, Tomoko Rosas. And there are blessings for our minister, Reverend Dr. Bill Salisbury, who's prepared a message special for today. In gratitude for the many blessings we enjoy every minute of every day, and for the certainty that God is all, I release my words into that perfect functioning of divine law, letting it be, and so it is.
I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Sally Stredler, and I am a practitioner here at our beautiful church center. Can we stay here all year? What a question. California, the golden state, so full of promise and opportunity to build a whole new life. On my 25th birthday, my two little boys and I left Idaho, heading for Long Beach, California. My reading today is from our friend Carol Bliss's book, Love Heals. It was written at the highest point in Long Beach, Signal Hill. The title of this chapter is Outside Lies Magic. She says, I became inspired at Signal Hill Park. This park was named for the Native Americans who lived in early Long Beach. They sent smoke signals from way up high because it was a mountain surrounded by flat land. Tribes all over the Los Angeles basin could see the signals. It is still stunning today. You can see the downtown Los Angeles skyline in the distance and the blue Pacific Ocean right in front of you with freighters coming in from all over the world. At that park, the city pays tribute to the early settlers. They devoted the park to cultures whose labor built the city: oil riggers, cowboys, and even women. The concrete has poetry etched into it in tribute to the workers whose vision built this city. In this park, she says, I lay on my back and watched the sky streaking white against the pale blue. I noticed dandelions poking up through the grass. I watched children happily playing. I saw dogs on leashes, also happy to be out and free, their noses smelling a wonderful world of aromas. I watched an elderly woman with beautiful white hair. From a bench, she was enjoying her view of the ocean glittering below. This park is where I came to write the outline of my book, and somehow it materialized into a full book out there in the world, inspiring others. Writing is a beautiful thing. If you do just a little bit every day, it will magically become a book. If you ever find yourself needing inspiration, go to a mountaintop. The mountaintop view will spark new ideas, as they have for so many of our spiritual ancestors like Moses and Martin Luther King Jr. Simply go to the mountaintop and notice the endless possibilities below. The world truly is full of wonder if we only slow down and notice it. And now please join me in prayer. Confident in the knowledge, the certainty that God is all, we celebrate this beautiful day. We enjoy the sunshine, the breeze of fresh air, our fellow humans, the plants and the animals of this spectacular blue planet, all God's creations. Each one lives and breathes as part of God. God's abundance surrounds us. God's love fills us. In deep gratitude for all the blessings of this day, I release my words into the perfect working of divine law, and let them be. And so it is.
All that is good, all that is right, all that is truth, justice and light, all that is pure, holy and deep is all that is all that is me.
Yes, indeed. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's great to be here. I'm Reverend Bill Salisbury, and it is my absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you, Tommy and Kat, for that wonderful music. We're so blessed here. And thank you also, Sally, for that reading. And I was sitting, taking in this reading, and while I was listening to the blessings and the thanks to those people who make this center so viable and so exciting to be a part of, I became acutely aware that and I know the rest of the guys in the congregation agree with me, we're just surrounded by these super powerful women. Bringing all that power and all that spirit, but bringing with it that that divine creativity and nurturing that makes this so enthralling, that constant birthing and rebirthing that keeps us renewed every week, every month. That said, allow me to get into my announcer voice. Previously, on Fullerton Center for Spiritual Living, in the spirit of summer, we had Reverend Valerie, California Dreamin', and then we had a little entry into spiritual vacation, and then we asked that age-old question, are we there yet? The answer to which, as it turns out, and we'll get into a little bit more later, is absolutely, definitely. But now we're going on to, what are we? Can we stay here all year? You know, I don't have the greatest memory. I mean, some days I can't remember breakfast. But here's some things I do remember. I remember that every Thanksgiving, we asked the question, can we stay in this atmosphere, this attitude of Thanksgiving year-round? Because we know that although the spotlight is shining temporarily on that divine quality of God that is thanksgiving and gratitude, and we do make this sublime effort to keep that going all year, sometimes we maybe wane a little bit, sometimes we come in and we go in and out a little bit. And then we get to Christmas, and we ask that question, can't we have life fully orbed into Christ consciousness year-round? Guess what the answer to that was? Yes, of course we can. Even though the spotlight's shining on that for this season, that's still one of those other qualities, all of which we can carry with us. Then we get into the new year filled with hope for the future, with desire, and with that attitude of, here's what I'm going to do. Here are those positive changes that I'm going to make. And once again, can't we be there all year? Yeah, we get those little adjustments as we go, right? We should say, oh, well, this isn't exactly what I had in mind when I made that resolution to do better. But that's okay. I just tweak this just a little bit, just turn the wheel, and we'll get over there where we want to be. Then we get to Easter and we ask the question, can we stay here all year? Why? Because of the love that everybody experiences and shares with everybody else in this time. And that's the time when we take stock of and make sure we understand what the crucifixion and the resurrection are all about. Remember, we are aware at that time that we die to the old habits and we die to this and that and the other thing, but we are born again into that spiritual nature that is ours all year, forever and for always. So the answer to the question is right now and always. Can we stay here all year? Yes, because we are always here. The only thing that sometimes is not always here when it comes to that gratitude, that love, that abundance, that sharing, that community, the only thing that's not always here is just our awareness. So really the question should be, can I work on my awareness all year? The awareness that I am already arrived. And I want to be careful here because I don't mean this metaphorically, what I'm about to say. I mean this literally. If we want to take a trip to our highest and best good, if we want to take a trip to that, whatever it is we want, when we ask the question, are we already there? The answer right now, 2 seconds after we determine that that's what we want to do, that's where we want to be, that's how we want to show up in the world, the answer is we are already there. So if I want to jump in the car and head for Buffalo, New York, and I ask myself, like 6 hours after I'm driving, are we there yet? The answer is, of course we are. Now, are we physically in Buffalo? Are we on Genesee Avenue, you know, checking out the hood? No. But we are as good as there because that which we are seeking by being there, we're bringing with us. So when we set a goal or an aspiration for something that we want to be, have, do, see in the world, it's already there. We have already achieved it. The minute we say to ourselves, gee, I want to be, we're already there. And we can stay there as long as we keep our awareness on that. Who, I may ask, has not lost their young little heart to somebody on a summer vacation in their childhood days? Pretty sure we all have. And you remember that feeling? And didn't you say, yeah, so let me back up a second. Remember as we were heading there, we're in the back seat of the country squire, you know, and the dog's climbing all over us, and he touched me, and everything is going on. And we just hated that, right?
Yes.
Do we have to go? Do we have to go? Are we there yet? But then once we got there, and we were smitten by something or someone at our temporary destination, didn't we ask that question? Gee, why do we have to leave? Why can't we stay here? And we didn't say all year, right? We said, why can't we stay here forever? And forever is what we should always endlessly be talking about. Because today and tomorrow, there's no such thing. There is only forever. And forever shows up always dressed as right now. It's these endless, eternal, right now moments that we can never escape. We can never truly live before them or truly live after them. So if we want to stay here all year, we only have to remember that we are already there and we want to stay there in this now moment. And this now moment never ends unless we allow it to. Well, it never ends. Our awareness of it might end a little bit. So, there was something that you read in Reverend Carroll's book that just struck me as being, oh yeah. It was that part about if you just write a little bit every day, pretty soon you've got a book. When we talk about our spirituality, isn't that exactly the same? If we just do our spiritual practices every day, we get a little bit of spirituality going on in every moment and everything we do. We have a whole and complete spirituality. That's what we are. We're surrounded by it. We're immersed in it. It is who we are. So we don't have to sit here and hear something or read something or see something somewhere along the line and have it go, bang, wait a minute. I want to do that. That's who I want to be. That's how I want to be. Oh, man, I can't wait till I've done all the work to get there. We don't have to do all the work. I know we always say that. Are you doing the work? Have you done the work? The work is just this. The work is only knowing that God has become me. It's all I ever have to know. Because God has become me, that doesn't mean I'm God, remember? I can't do all those things. But we have this consciousness, this infinite intelligence, this divine entity, if you will, that has created all things for all time. And because God has become me, what does that mean? It means that I am, because there has been nothing else involved here. The only thing involved was God deciding to become me and becoming me out of the very same thing that God is, because there's nothing else for anything to come out of. So as soon as I realize that, I know I am the peace that God is. I am that. I don't have to become that. I am that. That's how I'm made. That's what I'm made of. I am the love that God is. I am the joy that God is. I'm the beauty. I'm the beholder of that beauty that God is. I'm the happiness. I'm the caring and the compassion. I'm the gratitude that God is. And when it's necessary, I'm the forgiveness that God is. I have to be all of these things. And that holds true, of course, for all of us. Each and every being on the planet have to be these things, because there's nothing else we could possibly be. Well, that sounds great, Bill. Little airy-fairy, mind you, but I'm wondering why, why we have some things that don't feel or seem or look or sound like they're that. Well, again, it's because we can choose against exhibiting these qualities. We cannot choose against having them. There's no choice except that we have them. They are what make us up. But because we have volition, we have choice, we can say, well, you know what? I don't want to exhibit my gratitude today. So I know you did this for me and you did that for me, and I should be forever grateful, and I love the fact that you did it, and it's helping me out so much. But today, right now, I don't think so. I'm not going to be grateful. Now, there may come a time, shortly or longly down the road, where you change that and say, oh, wow, I should have shown my gratitude for that. And it's true, you can go back and show it. Now, in the meanwhile, you might have already hurt somebody's feelings, but the fact is you had the choice to make. And if we don't make the choice, we don't literally say to ourselves, I choose gratitude. I choose peace. I choose love. I choose joy. If we don't say that, it's not that traumatic, because we are that by default. So if we don't make that choice, we are going to experience those things anyway. If you notice that, you might just be sitting, doing something, doing nothing, when, bam, this busload of bliss just out of nowhere lands right on you. But if we do make a choice, and it's a choice the other way, if we do choose to not do that, we can. And sometimes, I don't know, have you ever known anybody who seemed like they could sustain that choice against their God qualities for really long periods of time? It can. What's called for right then is what? That quality we have when we need it, called forgiveness. Now we all know there's nothing to forgive, right? I mean, right? There's nothing to forgive. But sometimes don't we feel like, well, there is?
Yeah.
And when we feel like that, then we can do that. And in fact, it is our charge. That is what we're supposed to do. That's what we're going to do. That's how we keep ourselves going in all those spirits, the spirit of love, of gratitude, of forgiveness, of rebirth. Those spirits that we want to stay in, can we stay here all year? Yes. So sometimes it's going to require a little bit of forgiveness to do that. And, you know, sometimes I feel like I can say this till I'm blue in the face. I can say it to me till I'm blue in the face, I promise you. But, and we just do a great job of knowing this, right? Everybody we meet is our divine equal. We know that. We know that everybody we meet is a person that God has become, just like God has become you and me. And that doesn't mean, by the way, that little pieces of God are pulled out and God gets a little bit shorter each time we do that. No, because the reason we are not God is because God is everything that we are, and everything that everybody is, and everything that everything is, and all of this without giving up a single iota of who God is to begin with, because God is all that, and everything else that could ever possibly be, and more. It's hard to get your head around that, and more. But at any rate, so I know that everybody else is God who has become that person, and I know that I might not like the action. Remember this? Well, I don't like the action, but I love the God in you. It's just the personality right now that's not sitting so well with me. But then, sometimes I get this little, this little nagging thing in the back of your head. You ever get that? And it says, do I really mean that when I'm talking to somebody who is spiritually or religiously or in whose spirituality or religiosity is different than I? Or what about their worldview is different? And OMG, what if their politics are different? So if the first two didn't get you, that one did. All right? It is ungodly hard to look at somebody, especially in today's polarized political situation. It's, dare I say, almost impossible to look at the person who's of an opposite viewpoint that you are, that I am, and say, yeah, I don't like the way you did or said that, but I sure love the God in you. Sometimes I think we get halfway through that sentence and then turn on our heel and go do something else. But it really is the case. We can stay here all year, but we have to make a concerted effort to do it. We have to be brutally honest with ourselves. I know, there are times when brutal honesty just really isn't called for in certain situations between certain people. Yeah, well, I'm not going to get into that. That'd be way too long to talk. But we can always and should be, without fail, honest with ourselves. If we are honest with ourselves, even when we're doing something we know we shouldn't be doing, rather than justifying it, say, well, it's okay in this instance because, why not just say, you know what? Damn, that's just wrong. And even if you're not going to go back and correct at this moment, at least say to yourself, that was just wrong. And if I want to be here all year, if I want to be immersed in my spirituality, and I want to be the highest and best person I can possibly be, and I want to return the favor of God becoming me by appreciating that, being aware of that, knowing that, and thanking every day that that is the case, I need to be honest with myself as to whether or not I am returning, radiating, sending out that love to every other divine expression, or whether I'm holding back a little bit. Because when we stop holding back a little bit, and I think if I didn't say it before, let me say it now. It ain't easy. And sometimes, I'd rather have, root canal than do something like that. But the fact is, the way we get to stay here all year, and it's worth doing because it's worth staying here all year, not physically, but with that feeling. Because don't we know when we want something, when we aspire to something, when we pull out all the stops to get, do, have, see, be something, we're not doing it for that thing. Because that thing is literally worthless. And I don't care what it is. That thing is temporary. And again, we cannot get or permanent happiness and joy and bliss out of temporary things. No, what we're looking for is the feeling that comes with it. And the short version is this: it doesn't matter what direction we take trying to get that. That feeling can be gotten only one way. One way only. That is by being in touch with and aware of our divinity, and with the fact that God is expressing as us, if we just surrender to that and let it happen. Let it unfold the way life, nature, God wants it to unfold. It's kind of like getting out of that me spirit, getting into the spirit. Because once we do that, everything we want is right here, right now. Oh, and knowing that's the case, I think we should just take this into prayer. I just give great thanks for it. And I understand that when I realize and recognize my place, when I know that just like the wind disturbs the surface of the lake, it's the restless thoughts and the unawareness that I allow to come into my thoughts that disturbs my very soul. And I know that in love, in peace, in serenity, in calm and joy and beauty, I can stay here all year. Because that is, in fact, where I was born to stay forever. As long as I alert my physical being, my humanness, to be aware that that is the case. It's with grateful heart that I just say, thank you for this. Thank you, God. Thank you for the awareness that keeps me so close to you and so immersed in that spirituality that is my divine birthright. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to stay here all year. With that heart full of gratitude, I just let this word go into that law, that immutable law that can only say yes, that can only answer my demand in the affirmative. And it says, yes, stay here, stay with me, live and love eternally in happiness. I let it be, I let it go, and so it is.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God.
So this is that moment, whether you're here, which very few of us are, or whether you're at home, that we want to take a moment, just give great thanks to you for your continued support. Continued support in being on the phone, being at the center, for being in other places where people from the congregation need our presence, and especially for that financial continuing support. It can be sent to us by the website, by mail, or by just coming down here and handing it over to our beloved Tomoka Rosas. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that.
If you got someone to think about that makes you think about love, send them some. Let there be you. Let there be me. Let there be oysters under the sea. Let there be wind and occasional rain, chili con carne and sparkling champagne. Let there be birdies to sing in the trees. I need somebody to bless me whenever I sneeze. And let there be cuckoos, a lark and a dove, but most of all, please, let there be love. Yeah, we got to have some. You know we need a little bit. Let there be birds to sing in the trees. I want somebody to bless me whenever I sneeze. And let there be cuckoos, a lark and a dove, but most of all, please, let there be love. Oh, you know we need some. Yes, just a little bit. All we need is some more. What we need is love. We need love. Thank you.
Oh, the one and only Cat Adams, blessing us this morning, and Tommy Cosentino, master of the keyboard and a backup vocal, and the everything else that goes into putting music together. So just a quick reminder, I'd like you to know that our practitioners are always here for you. We're here to listen, we're here to speak, if you so desire. But we're here to be with you through whatever it is you want us to be with you on, in, or about. So please don't forget that we're here. You can reach us by phone, by email, I guess by snail mail if you wanted to. But our numbers are all available on the website, Center for Spiritual Living, Fullerton. Don't make us as lonely as that Maytag repairman. We want to spend time with you. So, let's just know this right now as we bring this to a close. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called love.
It is this thing called love.
It is this thing called life.
It's this thing called life.
It's happening in my mind.
It's happening in your mind.
It's happening in my body.
It's happening in my body.
And I really like it. And I'm staying here all year.
I'm staying here all year.
So it is.
So it is.